We're talking about electronic assessment in distance education, otherwise known as e-assessment. A project in this area has been conducted as part of the PANdora research network since 2004, involving collaboration between distance education experts in Sri Lanka, Indonesia and Pakistan. The project has been led by Dr. Nazir Sanghi of Allama Iqbal Open University in Islamabad. Dr. Sanghi is the Chair of Computing Sciences at AIOU. Would you start by describing the particular challenges of e-assessment and the important role it can play in Asian distance education?
Thank you, John. We did work on e-assessment models and methods project. 3 universities from Sri Lanka, Pakistan and Indonesia did collaborate on this project. Initially, I'll talk about the e-assessment challenges. Distance learning students are increasing. Without e-assessment, it will be difficult for institutions to cope with evaluation of those students. We found out institutional problems and their academic-related problems, which are faculty and student-related. The objective of this survey was to collect the information on e-assessment policies and practices in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. The questionnaire was distributed to 50 institutions having 2,000 plus enrollments. 31 institutions throughout the country responded. The respondents included 85 faculty members and 60 students at higher learning institutes of education. Looking at the results, the institutions would like to have the administrative problems being looked by the e-assessment systems. Their emphasis is on the operational issues, implementation of e-assessment at the distance, student authentication to avoid the plagiarism and impersonation is also one major issue there. And students want a user-friendly software. Also, they would like to have more collaboration on e-learning tools and software so that they could objectively answer e-assessment questions. The specific findings of this survey are that many institutions do lack computing resources, especially in e-assessment, even though they have technological infrastructure in other areas more. Few educators and students have been exposed to electronic tests. It is very informal in many departments and places. E-assessment methods requested for automating assignments, quizzes, class tests, final examinations. The emerging interest in e-assessment for labs and project work, presentation and oral examination is also taught by many faculty members, and it is one of the preference of the faculty members on that issue. Generally, we would say that the obstacles in the assessment progress are first at the managerial level, top level. Those are the policy related to e-assessment, where the traditional methods are being practiced for a long time. People are reluctant to give those up and look for e-assessment. The standards in the security and flexibility in the examination systems, one major issue is the plagiarism and impersonation at a distance. It will remain one of the continuous problems, and that has to be looked into. On the technical side, manpower, reliable hardware, software, communication infrastructure is very much needed in the policies of the institutions. So there is a need for comprehensive e-assessment framework and a software to overcome e-assessment problems and challenges, and this PANdora project helps us to develop a checklist and the framework on e-assessment. To meet these needs, AIOU has developed an e-assessment procedure, also demonstration software. This software is looking at 3 stages: pre-assessment, conduct, and post-assessment. The software is available through the PANdora software. This software does provide many different methods which institutions could select for policy implementation. At the same time, individual faculty members or departments can also make a use of this one. Hopefully, this open source software will grow like learning management systems have grown and would be able to support e-learning and e-assessment in distance education within Asia.
I know it has been your intention to use the survey results from Pakistan and Sri Lanka to design e-assessment software that will be particularly useful for the Asian situation. What have been your conclusions about the special needs of Asian education?
Looking in the survey, we did find that sometimes a single faculty member is using e-assessment. So we have modeled the software in such a way that a single faculty member could initiate it, and once the acceptance is at the institution, they could do more courses, more programs at a university level. We are also developing a different type of question so that each student is provided a different but equal questionnaire so that they could avoid plagiarism during the examination.
One of the topics that has been discussed at this Global Knowledge Conference in Kuala Lumpur has been, is there such a thing as an Asian style of learning? I believe that myself for some years, that having now spent the last 2 years in Asian countries, I now don't believe it. I think that perhaps there are very different Asian traditions in education. The question relates to whether Asian students can easily adapt to the sort of assessment methods that you've been talking about, ranging from traditional essays to online quizzes, tests, presentations, and so on.
The students utilize the e-learning systems. They are better on the yes-no type of answers, fill in the blanks, the quizzes type of things. They are having difficulties in online answering essay type questions. There are problems with that one. On the other hand, the faculty would like to have essay type questions also taken care of. The students answer online based in the Asian context, but I think it will grow, and that is one of the reasons we are giving this e-assessment software at a lower level, and slowly it will get more and more acceptance, and it will develop also at the same time better features. I am very hopeful of e-assessment being practiced there, but we need to carefully look into the difficulties of the students, faculty, and institutions.
The educational technology and distance education literature has defined the evolution of educational media in terms of 5 generations. This one is the 5th generation, which uses online databases to streamline the process of providing distance education for hundreds of thousands and potentially millions of Asian students. Would you have any final comments about the problems and challenges of e-assessment in the next few years?
I think this software which we have tried to present, it will take them maybe 2 years to fully utilize. The software is open source, available to different institutions and faculty members. I think the growth will be natural, more needs will be identified, and we will bring this design into a more comprehensive one, secrecy, plagiarism, and other aspects being looked into with the institutional point of view.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nazir Sanghi, for this useful presentation which summarizes your Pandora project. Bye-bye.
Thank you, John, and thanks from our team.